You know what time it is. It is once again time to build your portfolio with another profitable prediction from the 7 oracles. I am your host, the Spittin Statistician Dane Martinez, one of the 7 oracles, trying to help you see into the future. And don't forget, if you want access to all the tools that we've got, all the content that we've got, you gotta go on over to predictionmarketspicks.com. There you can sign up for our newsletter, you could register for the site and have access to everything and get down with the Illuminati and the 7 oracles to help you get a little bit of extra cash as we head into springtime. Today's market that I want to talk about is focused on the NFL draft, okay? Coming up here where rookies and college players get selected. We already know that Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback out of Indiana, is going to be taken by the Las Vegas Raiders at number 1 overall. So the real fun starts with markets about who will be the number 2 overall pick. That pick is currently held by the New York Jets, and right now, Arvell Reese, the linebacker out of Ohio State, is at about 60 to 65%, and I think that is still a value. I say take the yes on Arvell Reese to be the number 2 overall pick at about 1.6, 1.7x on your money. First of all, the Jets are going to take someone who could put pressure on the passer. The Jets were bottom 3 in the league last year in terms of sacks, in terms of their pressure rate, in terms of hitting the quarterback, and they also famously only had 4 turnovers all season long. 2 of them were forced by special teams, and no interceptions all season long. The first time in NFL history a team went the entire season without getting any interceptions. You know what helps that? Putting pressure on the quarterbacks, making plays to disrupt the offense, and Arvell Reese can certainly do that. Now, there are some other pass rushers that are probably going to go high up in the draft. One is Ruben Bain Jr. out of Miami. Another is David Bailey out of Texas Tech. Here's the thing. Bailey is just like a pure edge rusher. Some people view him as a one-trick pony and won't get all the way up to a number 2 overall selection that the Jets have, although he is a pretty good pass rusher and should translate on some level to the NFL. The other is Ruben Bain, and Ruben Bain, listen, had a great career at Miami, went all the way to the national championship game. However, there are some concerns about his arms, if he'll be able to kind of get distance at the next level, and this is the important part, Bain seems to be more of a fit to be a defensive end in a 4-3 scheme. The Jets are moving this year to a 3-4 defensive scheme, and a lot of the moves they have made in free agency, for example, by making trades for nose guard defensive linemen like a Trevondre Sweat, for example, seems like they are looking for archetypes and players that can fit the scheme, and Arvell Reese can do that. He can be an on-ball linebacker. He can be an off-ball linebacker. He can move to that outside linebacker and really put pressure on the quarterback. He can do it all, and most, kind of experts, most mocks have him actually as the highest rated player in the entire draft. This guy was a consensus All-American. The only reason Mendoza is going to go number 1 to the Raiders is because of the positional value, let's say, of the quarterback. And think about some of these guys, stud defensive guys who can put pressure on the passer at number 2 overall. Look at what they've turned into. I'm talking Aiden Hutchinson in Detroit. I'm talking Will Anderson Jr. for the Houston Texans. Most people believe that Arvell Reese can in fact be that same kind of talent. Aaron Glenn was very focused on Arvell Reese at the Ohio State Pro Day. You put it all together, and I do believe there's some people thinking he could be a Pro Bowler right out of the gate. I believe it is more of a lock that Arvell Reese is going to be the number 2 overall pick by the New York Jets. You know who else thinks that it is more of a chance than the 60-65% you can get at most of these prediction markets? Most of the sports books as well. If you go on over to FanDuel, if you go on over to DraftKings, they are hanging like minus 250, minus 260 for Arvell Reese to be the number 2 overall pick. So if you do it over at Kalshi, over at Polymarket, where it's really about a 60-65% chance and you can get 1.6x, 1.7x on your money, that is the place to be. Well, now the Oracle has spoken. Go ahead and get this in before the numbers move. And remember, you need to go on over to predictionmarketspicks.com. There you will see all sorts of other content from the Oracles. You will also see all sorts of other tools that you can use to give yourself an edge in these prediction markets, see the data, get notified, and get access to our newsletter. Remember, that is at predictionmarketspicks.com, and you can be part of the prediction Illuminati as we all go ahead and see into the future. Arvell Reese, number 2 overall. Book it now.